And good morning. I'm on time. 9:02. I just dumped water over on my floor. But anyway, I'm going to say good morning, and good morning. How are you? It's Friday. It's the 8th. It's already the 8th of March. It's running, running, running. We're running through the months. It's just incredible to me. But I wanted to show you something. I decided this Friday was going to be Sweet to Sandy Friday, Dr. Winnie Friday. So I bought myself these beautiful sunflowers. I'm always talking about sunflowers. And I even wrote myself a note. It says, for you, to you. Sometimes we have to look after ourselves in any way possible. So this was my treat for me. Um, I just love them. My favorite flower are the ones here. I think they're called black-eyed Susans, but anyway, they have the darker center, whereas the other ones have a lighter. They have the light color. And I remember being in New York a few years ago, and my daughter and I and my niece ran by. We were just driving by. We stopped. We started running in a field of sunflowers. Now, we didn't know if there was a snake or anything else out there, but they were so beautiful. So it's always my breathtaking flower, and I even put in a little yellow to cheer your day because before you know it, this day will be gone too, and we'll be on to the next day. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about something that just has like always struck me as being interesting. Good morning, Gloria. Good morning, good morning, good morning. International Women's Day. Yes, it is International Women's Day. I was just getting ready to say that. Thank you, Gloria. And so I want to talk about the word greed. And it's not always, good morning, Joan. How are you? Look at these flowers, Joan. Aren't they gorgeous? You know, everybody to come on, I'm gonna make sure I show them my flowers so that I give flowers to myself. But anyway, today is International Women's Day, and normally I don't talk about, women that are that may come up for our word today, which is talking about greed. And I only chose one woman because I said in history, has there ever been a woman out there that thank you, Joan. Is there ever been a woman out there that has been extremely rich? Not modern day rich, not a Oprah, not a Beyonce, not a Taylor Swift. No, I'm talking about serious money back in the day. Serious money. So here's what it says. Here's what it says. It says this woman's name is Henrietta. Henrietta Hetty, they call her Hetty for short. Howland Robinson Green. Isn't that a name? And she lived between 1834 and 1916. It says known as the Witch of Wall Street. The Witch of Wall Street. The Queen of Wall Street. And she said she was considered to be the richest woman in the world. She said it says her net worth at that time was estimated at over $100 million. Now you think of that period, okay? This was even before the crash when people were making money, and then all of a sudden the crash, and I think the crash was what, 1929, something like that. But anyway, it said that this is how she was just such a star-studded individual on Wall Street that she made everybody almost bow down. And it says that she had the equivalent today of which would be $2.5 million. Hey, Debbie, good morning, sweetie, sweetie, sweetie. Look, I'm going to show you the flowers. Here's the little flowers I got for y'all today because I bought them for myself. I said, well, I'm going to share them with you all. Happy Friday. Happy Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day. So anyway, today's money, her name is Henrietta Hetty Howland Robinson Green, and born 1834 and lived till 1916. Said her today's worth would be $2.5 billion. $2.5 billion. And she was considered as a model of groundbreaking financial intelligence and independence. She was called Mrs. Hetty Green. And it says, while her husband, he was known as the husband of Hetty Green. But anyway, it says that she was just really something. It said she had her financial success in order, and it was considered to be extraordinary. It says her mother, which was Addie Slocum Howland, was the daughter of a wealthy whaling fleet owner, Gideon Howland. Her father, Edward Mott Robinson, was the Gideon's business partner. Addie Howland, with the intention of having a son to inherit and increase his wealth, on November 21st, 1834, it says that Abby gave birth in the New Bedford to their firstborn, a daughter that they named Henrietta. And it says Abby had a son who died a few weeks after birth, and Edward was enraged that there was no son for him to mentor through himself into his own work. And it says Abby, terrified of her husband and depressed over the loss, went to bed. By the time Hetty was 2 years old, it says her parents had sent her to live with her grandmother Gideon and the older daughter Sylvia Ann Howlands, Abby's sickly sister. But over time, basically, it says that she grew and grew and grew the money and she learned how to manipulate money by living with her grandparents. And it says that basically she paid close attention to whatever the father on the docks as he inspected ships and negotiated with captains and merchants. And as Hetty gained her father's approval, he taught her how to read. So eventually she went back and she learned everything her dad was doing and understood how to be a stockbroker. This is like a movie to me. When I was reading this, I said that this should be a movie, to just see how back in those days when women weren't considered to be, they shouldn't be leading things such as, working on the docks and understanding how to broker with people coming in and out in terms of merchants and that kind of thing. But she learned it. And it said that she just became, ruthless. It says her formal education began at 10 years of age, and she was sent to a strict Quaker school. And it said, but during her weekends, she would learn how to do everything else in between. And says Hetty was able to keep only the house worth of money. So she would work, but then she could only keep so much money that was allowed her. And ultimately, she became very, very rich. But anyway, you can read all of this stuff on Wikipedia. Has a whole section on the witch of Wall Street. Interesting stuff. And I know none of you are greedy. I already know that right now. But it says that greed doesn't just exist with our money. That's what got me and threw me into this tailspin of, could we be greedy about other things? Could we be greedy about food? Yes. Could we be greedy about clothes? I already told you I'm a clothes horse. What else can we be greedy about? Lots of stuff. So greed is probably, in some of us, it's in our DNA, that we just want what we want when we want it. We want it the way we want it. We want how much we want. And sometimes we get a lot, but it's still not enough. We want more, and we want more, and we want more. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning. Here's the flowers. These are what I did for you all today, as I did for myself. This is International Women's Day. And so hello for all the women are here. And hello for any men that come in. They can have fun telling somebody happy International Women's Day. But anyway, so when we start with this word greed, greed, and says greed is selfish and excessive desire for more of something. Good morning, Ms. George Brown. How are you? Thank you for coming into our space. Thank you so much. And you're coming from Miami. Hello, Miami. And it says Carney said hello. Hey, Carney. But anyway, when we talk about the word greed, we're talking about it's not just money. It says it could be in other things, But he says money may start it all off. Money may start the problem. We all love money. We love it when we got it. We love it when we can keep it. But some of it goes so fast in terms of inflation. And I learned a new word, and I'm going to give it to you in a second, but it's where, and it came out of greed. It came out of the idea of greed. That's where the word came from. Oh, hey, it's Michelle. Hey, Michelle, welcome. Oh, love you, girl. Was it Tampa or Orlando? We couldn't remember, but hello. But anyway, here we go. It says, so when we talk about the word greed, we're really talking about something that may be gluttonous, that's food, maybe selfish, maybe something of a hoarding nature. It may be something of a coveted nature. So we're looking at something of possession. It's ours. Don't touch it. You know, I have a mean, I have a thing for sunglasses, but I've always had trouble with my eyes. So when I'm outside, I'm always trying to cover my eyes up. So, and they always have to match. So if I have on purple, I have on purple glasses. If I have on yellow, I have on yellow glasses. Now, let me tell you about that red. The red fooled me one day because I had on the red glasses. And what happened is that the red would not allow for me to see the green light, okay, or the yellow light. So therefore, as soon as I saw it, as I was approaching the light, and I couldn't tell, oh, I took those off, so I couldn't wear them. I had to change. Oh, it's Miami. Okay. All right. Well, hello, Miami. But anyway, when we move on in this word of greed and we break it down, that G is a new word that just went into Merriam-Webster's dictionary. It's called greedflation. Greedflation. That's greed coupled with inflation. So they called it greedflation. They don't call it greed inflation. It's just greedflation, or it could be greed and inflation, but they mixed it up this time. It says it's the idea of exploiting inflation to create excessive profits, and that's become known as greedflation. Interesting, huh? But so true. That's so true. What did you say? Gored up? Yes, absolutely. When we just think about everything that's so expensive, we're not making the money, but our money is leaving faster. True. And it didn't seem like it was really that everything should be as expensive as it is, but who's to stop them? It's the same thing of gouging, like gouging gas. Remember when we would go through the hurricanes, and the hurricanes would find that if you were able to find gas, the gas had become like $2 higher than what you were paying before the hurricane hit. Galore. Oh, I love that. I love that too. Yes, generate. All of those are good. Ginormous. Yes, ginormous is good. A lot of stuff. That would be ginormous. So anyway, when I get back to this word of greedflation, it says it really is a concept that typically is polarized. And you think of polarization, it really looks at who's over there, way over there, and who's way over there. So if you look at the difference between those that they have a lot more than the ones that do not. And I got to tell you, sometimes I'm riding down the street and I see people with just a cart, like it's a borrowed, I didn't say stolen, but it's a borrowed grocery cart, and all their belongings that they have are in that cart. And I just think of the fact that, I have a house, and I even have a garage, and I have a car, and I just think of the polarizing between myself and someone else, and I'm still little peas. And then I think the polarizing that's for those that might be in the middle, and how far we are against the heady, against somebody that can work Wall Street. Gather, that's good too. Gather is good. So, sometimes I ask myself, aren't we all stuck? Aren't we all stuck in where we are versus where someone else is? And sometimes we have to say, absolutely, we are together. That's good. So anyway, greedflation talks about, and it's been described as by Forbes, who always does an assessment of who's here, who's there. It says greedflation is roughly defined as excessive price increases. Do we not see them? That companies roll out to take advantage of an inflationary situation, and they grow their profit. Mm, mm, mm. It says it's a financial increase. It might be in products. It might be in services. So you're paying more money and you get less service. How many of us go to that's good. How many of us go to Walmart and bag our own groceries now, but yet and still the prices for the food that we're buying, the things that we're buying have increased, and then there's also, and I was going to do one on shrinkflation, shrinkage, but they have it where you have smaller boxes, and people visually don't see them right way because they give you the same pictures that you've been looking at, such as the vanilla wafer box. I went to make some at Christmas time. Never made it. I gave those cookies away, but I was going to make some banana pudding, and I only like, this is where, sorry for everybody that's watching, I only like Nella, vanilla wafers, Nabisco. That's it. So yes, I am into the branding. So I've been branded, and I go to buy the box, and the box is like so small in what the box that we used to get for the same price, which is already at $4.79. Okay. For a box of cookies? No. Well, I bought them only because it was the holidays, but on a regular basis, no. No. It's gotten ridiculous. The things that used to be $1 are now $2.25. The things that used to be $10 are now $15 or $18. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, and it says that these companies grow this to really make sure that they have to do only minimal service and get the same results for the amount of money. They give you less products and they get their same money, but you get less on what it is that you're purchasing. And basically, who does it affect? All of us as consumers. All of us. It's really something. But when we move on in our word, and I'm going to ask you this morning, do you occasionally get stuck on whose greed you're dealing with, yours or someone else's? It's a question. So anyway, my R in greed is ravenous. And you said ravenous? Absolutely. That means we could be extremely hungry, extremely wanting. We could be famished. We could be voracious. We're looking for something. Receiver is great because we are the receivers. Occasionally we might even be the givers in that, but most of the time we're receiving whatever we have, this ravenous thing that we're looking for. And ravenous in this instance not only could be talking about food, money, but it's also talking about food. Okay, because sometimes we are greedy. And I can tell you, as a child, I came from a family of 10. But by the time I came along, by me being the baby and being very small, I always felt that there wasn't going to be enough food by the time it got to me. But when I looked at everything, my mother, even though, we were never on welfare, I don't know how they did it to make sure that we had all the food that we did. But one thing is that my father was a barterer. So he would do things for someone and then they would do things for us. I loved the government cheese at that time. It made the best grilled cheese sandwiches. It really did. My mother wouldn't use it for macaroni and cheese because she had to have cheddar, but I'm just letting you know. But anyway, it says, Cheryl Anderson, they make major profits, and then when called out on it, they get Congress to increase minimum wage and raise price and get more profits. Yes, absolutely. They do. Absolutely. We just see that there's a layering to this thing. It's not just that Some get it. It's like some get it, and then they figure out how they can get what they want and how somebody else can get what they want. And so to me, it's almost like a chess game. You know, in order to get to the king, you got to get some stuff out the way, including the queen. You got to go ahead and make sure if you want to put somebody in checkmate, then you make it where what they need becomes so necessary that they'll do anything to get it. Isn't that a lot? Isn't that what probably happens to the person that might be, the alcoholic, the person that is dealing with drugs, the person that's dealing with gambling, whatever it is that might be an addiction. We become and we put ourselves in a position to become greed worthy, greed necessary, greed needy. We put ourselves there. We just do. What is that? Reevaluation. Where sometimes we need to reevaluate, Debbie, but we don't always do it. We really don't. So anyway, when we're talking about being ravenous, it says we're really talking about sometimes it's on us. We feel that ferociousness. We want it. We want whatever it is that we want. We want what we want. True? We do. We want what we want. When we move on in the word of greed, we need to talk about the fact is that my first E is for excess. How many of us know we have excess? We even have excess and we're just regular folks. Okay, so can you imagine? And I know the picture I found this morning that kind of depicts what I thought excess was when there was a mansion, and outside the mansion there were 5 cars. This is me now. I can only drive one car. I can only drive one. So, maybe if I had money, I'd feel a little differently, but I don't think so. I think I would just have my favorite car would be the car I'd be driving. But I imagine if you have so much money, then the issue is not that you can't have it. The issue is that I want it. And my ability to purchase it says I can be greedy. I can be greedy. So I say excess is for my first E. The fact of exceeding something else in the amount or degree. Meaning I got this, but this isn't enough. I need more. I got this. This isn't enough. I need more. Isn't that what we do? And we do that on this scale. We do this on our regular scale. So can you imagine? Can you imagine? Essential. That's good. Erratic. Oh, wonderful words. And so appropriate when you think about it. Because there's probably a lot of us that feel that something is, they don't want to stay on the essentials. They go above essential. How about even when I think about Thanksgiving meal? And we get to the point where it's excessive. There's too much food, too much. But because of tradition, because of love, because of what we think others want, and then privately what we want, we put it all out there, but it becomes excessive. Experiment. That is too good, Debbie, because sometimes we probably are the experiment. See when are we going to say no to ourselves? How many of us say no to ourselves? Come on now, raise your hand. My hand's not raised. Oh, no. What I want sometimes is what I want. Like I wanted a Stanley. I love, I might as well know my little loves. I love thermoses, but or insulated cups, but they got to be good, because once I get my water, I want my water all day, and I like to fill it up with the chipped ice, and then I drink. That's how I drink my water. Now I'm not big on sodas or anything like that. Rarely will you ever see me drink a soda. Occasionally I'll have some tea, but my water bottles, and I have like my glasses, like my sunglasses, they're all different colors. So I had to get a Stanley one only because they kept pumping them up on TV. See, once again, branding, it's like in our brain. We just know it, we want it. And so I said, man, I do want a Stanley. So I found out where they were locally, and you couldn't get them anywhere in Pensacola. But when I went over the bridge, over the Pace, I did find some. But do you love it? I do love it. Yes, Megan, I love it. I do. I do. I love it. I do. I absolutely love my thermoses. I love all of them. So I use the Hydro Flask and the RTC and also Stanley now. But Stanley, that was my first Stanley. I never had Stanley before, but I love the handle. Yes, I love it. Now I have. Let me see if I can find this one. Now I also have Yeti. You can't even see it with that light. That light's kind of covering up. But I have a Yeti too. But my Yeti is just my to have my coffee. That's just a small cup. But anyway, that's me. I admit that I'm probably a little over the top. Me too. I feel a little guilt, girl. But anyway, the excess is that it might be something that's just exorbitant. It's basically overkill. It's surplus because I can look on my table and I have I see two on the table. One from last night that I brought in from choir rehearsal, and then one from yesterday afternoon. But one was water and the other one was tea, where I went to a meeting. So they gave me some tea. So there you go. I mean, I must admit that I am who I am. Energizing, yes. Energizing. That's a good word, because sometimes that does energize us. Sometimes our greed is our greed. We want what we want. Like, we know on certain days we may want a certain food, or we want to, we buy something, but we don't just buy one of it. We buy a whole bunch of it. That's what them big box stores do. And even though I have those cards, I gotta admit, I don't really buy a lot of their stuff because it's just too much for me. Except for occasionally I'll go in and get toilet tissue and paper towels, but I usually use them for the gas, because the gas difference sometimes is just so good, especially at BJ's. So I use for that. But listen, my second E of greed is eagerness. How eager are we to do what we want to do? Come on now, be honest. We want to do it, we do it. That's it. If we want to go get something, if we want to, eat more of something, we just go do it. We do it. So eagerness talks about in earnestness. Maybe ardent, but we're eager about what we want to do, and we're intentional. Enrich. Yes, we feel we're enriching stuff. We feel we're energizing things. We love all of that. Good morning, Maurice, Big Mo. How are you? We think we're doing all of those things, but the real thing is that we want what we want. That's the bottom line right there. It is what it is. So sometimes we become ambitious in our attempt to get what we want. Are we intentional? Absolutely. We are intentional. We are. It says that we might have great ambition when we get eager about our greediness. We have a plan, such as the people that, that just love to go dancing. Okay. They figure out, okay, you don't want to go, that's fine. I'm going dancing. They want what they want. The person that says I'm going gambling, or I'm going out to eat. Like, I have some friends that hate to go out to eat with me because I'm no longer a big eater. And so when I go out, when I'm done, I'm done. But a lot of times that may be after just 4 or 5 bites. I'm just full. And everybody just looks at me like, what in the world? So they tell me that they don't like going out with me because they're still eating. And there I am just sitting there having a conversation. It just pisses them off. They're bad. They're bad. They're my bad friends that I love dearly. But anyway, that is what it is. But somebody else wrote equipment. Okay, that's good. Good morning, Kalithia. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Look, happy International Women's Day, everybody. Aren't these beautiful? Oh, beautiful flowers. But anyway, I bought them for myself, but I'm sharing them with you virtually, of course. Yes. Egotistical. Yes, 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 yes. Sometimes we are egotistical. We know who we are. I don't care. Look, if you've been around long enough to get past 21, you know who you are. You know what you like, because really and truthfully, we have formed the things that we like early in life, what we're attracted to. It may be color, it may be music, it may be, dancing, it may be, other things, reading, gambling, whatever, whatever, whatever. But it is what it is. We are who we are. So when we have this whole thing that really addresses the fact that we want to have this eagerness in our lives, we become ambitious, we become excited, we find that there's a zeal to it. It just kind of gives us a tingling. It is what it is. Oh, somebody says empty. Oh, Cheryl, that's good, because sometimes we get things, and after we get them, we go to empty. Why? It didn't fix what we were really looking for. It didn't. We still had that need, that thing that we wanted to do more of, have more of, be more like, or we just knew it wasn't enough. There it is right there. Was it enough? No. No. Let's see, engrossed is really good, because sometimes we do get engrossed in what we want. Evasive, ooh, y'all throwing them down today. Effectual, oh, I tell you, this is a good session. This is a good session. But you know what? It's so funny, because I just look at the haves and the have-nots, and I'm in a position in my life to really say that, and I can say it from my spiritual side, is that God has blessed me. Blessed me where I'm not out on the street and I'm not destitute, and I can have. And sometimes I will even say, when I know that it's excessive, I can say it. That doesn't mean I'm going to do much about it because it's still an obsession. But sorry, there was a plane going overhead. But I know the things that I like, and I will tell you, yeah, I love those. I like that. Da, 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 da. Want more of that. But eventually there becomes a time that we have to ask, is enough enough? We may not get there. But also, when we have this eagerness, we may have a hunger for something. And how many of us have had impatience, where we can't get to the store fast enough? Or, in fact, even going back to those Stanley Cups, they were showing where women, especially women, were fighting over the hot pink color. The hot pink, because it was Barbie and all of that stuff that came out all of last year. Everybody was looking for that particular cup. And I said, oh my goodness, and I'm glad I wasn't in that situation where I needed pink and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I did find my favorite color, which is purple. So I have a purple cup, but the cups come in every kind of color you can think of. And can you imagine a company like Stanley, that's been around for years and years and years, and they always had that masculine looking huge thermos, and for them to say, somebody said, let's go back to the drawing board. See, that's when they're thinking outside the box. That's when they're looking at, I'm not going to say their greed, but I'm saying in this instance, their need of how to make their company survive. I can't imagine that wouldn't have been Miss Hetty back in the day that we spoke about at the beginning of being in modern day times. She would be $2.5 billion in richness, only because she was ruthless. She knew what to do. And yes, she had greed. She understood that only money could make more money. And having a clever way of making it was what she had to do. And learning the trade. Like, some of us never learn the trade because we don't know what trades we're in, whereas others, they learn it on a regular basis. Even last night, I was listening to the news, and it was talking about how how Congress may be going to deal with TikTok. And I was thinking, there's a lot of people on TikTok, a lot of Americans who have never made money in their lifetime, but they found a niche. And the niche on TikTok is that they were appealing to people. Okay. They were appealing to people that, didn't know that there's somebody out there that existed in a space that they could see and follow and watch. Well, all that following, when it gets up into the 500,000 $1 million, and I was looking at the one where the woman she has one on, and I believe it is on TikTok, and it was like, I think it's called Who in the whatever Did I Marry? And it was giving her story and account over a 50-hour, I think it was over a 50-hour period, but it was a long time, okay, of her telling her story of how she met someone online. They, they went. They had all this kind of wonderful love right at first sight, everything, all that kind of stuff. And then she married him and found out later on what he really was. But he had a way of looking at her and saying, she got it going on. I need what she has. Isn't that so many of us, when we meet people when we think we got this going on? Not always does it work out, though. So anyway, my last letter, yay! My last letter for today is my D in greed. And greed, and for my D, let me see what you put down for your D. Let me see if anybody came up with it. I know Deb is really good at this. She'll come up with stuff, and Joan, and let me see. Drive, that's good. Drive is good. What else? What else we got? Come on. Give me some other stuff. I don't think anybody's going to have the one I got today. Determined, distraction. Oh, these are all great. Deception. Oh, deception is so good. That is good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Definitive. Okay, the scope. Yet, listen, I put daunting. Okay, daunting. A lot of times when we are in I'm going to put it to it, our greed mode is daunting. We can't get beyond it. It's like, no, I'm going to have to go on downstairs and get that another piece of cake. It's calling us. It's calling out our name. Years ago on Mad TV, I don't know if you ever saw this episode but on Mad TV, there was this skit where the guy was being called, as he thought, by carbonara. Well, carbonara is a pasta made with cream, eggs, ham, and cheese. And they make it up, and I've had it before in Italy when I lived there. It is delicious. But he said it was calling his name, and so he kept telling his assistant, "You got to move that, Shelly. Shelly, move that. It's calling my name. The carbonara is calling my name." So he kept telling her to move it, and she kept moving it. And he's put it in the hall, Shelly. Put it in the hall. I cannot deal with it anymore. So she sits the bowl of carbonara in the hall. Well, it was too strong, and he, of course, told her to go get the carbonara, and he ate the carbonara. That's us. That's who we are. When something is on us to do it, guess what? We're going to do it. We're just going to do it. It becomes daunting. It weighs on us. It weighs on us. So it says it's seemingly difficult to deal with, and we are in anticipation for whatever the treat is that we're going to get. And it says, but sometimes it's intimidating, meaning we don't know how to get around it. It just keeps on messing with us, whatever that is. So daunting has this thing of being intimidating, formidable, disconcerting, unnerving. These are all the synonyms of it. Disheartening, demoralizing, and challenging. I loved all of those words because a lot of times that's where we are. We're stuck. We're stuck on whatever it is that we desire, whatever. I have a relative that has like a lot of different things, but they're all the same. And I'm thinking, okay. But after you do maybe a couple of them, 3 or 4, after that, it's just duplication. I know mine is a style thing. I'm going to tell you right now, with my sunglasses, I told you my sunglasses, my clothes, and my water bottles, what I drink out of. Those are pretty much me. I don't have too many other crazy things. I like flowers, but I'd rather buy them than grow them, even though I have some that people have given me over the last few months. and I'm growing them. Okay. They're not dead. They're looking actually pretty good. But my point is this: that's cute. Do or die, devotion, dedication, draining. It is draining. Disassociated. Okay. All of those are just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But listen, to me, this was a fun session. It's a fun session just looking at our greed in relation to other greed that we see people take advantage of us on. You know, there's still going to be that thing, that greedflation, that we're still going to be paying, more money, shrinkflation for less stuff. But we see it, and it's in absolutely everything. I mean, our insurances have gone up, our property taxes. In fact, I called about my property taxes, which I paid a week or so ago, and I asked them about it. I said, how come my property taxes have gone up, $200? He says, well, a lot of people in your area have either put on new, an extension on their house, doing renovations, or new roofing, or what else did he say? Or they're building a new home. And he said, so we charge all that to you all. Everybody in that area gets an increase. So there you go. You don't have sometimes any control over what you're charged in relationship to what everybody will be charged, based on somebody just saying, I just need to upgrade my house to make it a little bit, nicer. But it is what it is. Good morning. I will be listening and sharing. Thank you so much. I love you, Ardelia. Look at these, Ardelia. Happy International Women's Day. Love you guys. But anyway, love you too. But anyway, you all have a wonderful weekend. I won't keep any more, but you have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourself. Give yourself some flowers. Okay, it's your day. The whole weekend. It's your weekend. Enjoy yourself. Relax a little bit. Be kind to others. And if you can't do anything else, go ahead and hit that share button and let this be shared. That there's somebody out there that's not on TikTok, and let's say eventually ban Facebook, but currently I'm still in there. Love you guys. Be safe. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have an awesome weekend all. Yeah. Bye-bye, everybody. Be safe. Love you guys.